Hello, everyone, and welcome to Her Stories. During the entire month of June, we will be showcasing female survivors from the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group. I am so excited to lead these conversations so that you can hear their stories and learn more about the fact that cancer does not have to be a death sentence. Tonight's conversation is one that just speaks of the power of resilience, the strength of family, and the kind of courage that doesn't just show up once. It shows up generation after generation. Our theme for tonight's conversation is when courage runs in the family. And I have the honor, it is like literally an honor to sit down with two remarkable women whose journeys have forever impacted the lives of the people around them. Typhany and Shavonnya, a daughter and mother, or a mother and daughter who've both walked through or are currently walking through breast cancer and who are here tonight to share not just about their stories, but to share from their hearts. So, this isn't just about survival tonight. This is about a legacy of strength. It is about a bond between two women who know what it means to fight together, to feel together, to rise together. And I have witnessed these women giggle and laugh together. I've seen them travel together. I've seen them call each other ride or die. Like, I'm like, are you sure you're mommy and daughter? Because this is more like best friend situation happening here. So I would like to bring them both on screen right at the moment. And I will invite them to just give a short snippet, just a very short introduction. Tell us your name and tell us how long you've been fighting your cancer battle.
Shavonnya. Well, my name is
Oh,
Tiffany Clark, and I have been diagnosed from 2018. And I am still here fighting, still trusting God in all that, with all that I have.
Good night. My name is Shavonnya Marshall, and I have been fighting on and off for about 3 years.
well, welcome to this conversation tonight, both of you ladies. As you see, I just kind of moved in my chair, trying to get myself in a cozy spot for what I know will be a transformative conversation tonight that will help many women to find evidence that in the journey you may find tribulations and trial, but you always find courage, and you are both demonstrating that you have the courage to stand up to cancer and fight. So, Shavonnya, I'd like to start with you with this particular question, and I will come back to Shavonnya with the exact same, to Tiffany with the exact same question. So, Shavonnya, can you tell us, going back to the moment when you first heard the words, you have breast cancer, what did that moment feel like for you?
I was numb. I was afraid. I was confused. I was angry. Um, Definitely a lot of mixed emotions. Definitely.
A lot of mixed emotions. Tell us a little bit more about those mixed emotions. Where did they come from?
When I was told I was alone in a doctor's office. Wasn't expecting to be getting any diagnosis or anything. I just thought I was going to pick up a letter. And so it caught me completely off guard when I was told. So I remember the doctor saying, "Hey, you have breast cancer. You have an aggressive form of breast cancer, and you have about 5 years to live." So in that moment, I became numb. Like I said prior, I was thinking about my children. I was thinking about so many things. And I remember leaving the office and driving. I don't remember the drive coming home, but I remember walking through my door and just falling to the ground. It was truly, truly a devastating um, cancer. The cancer word was truly, truly devastating in that moment.
It truly sounds like it was a heart breaking experience. What some of her emotions were and how she felt when. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Well, it came as a surprise in 2018. And when I first was diagnosed, I wasn't afraid, um, but because I know God was with me. Um, but I was more concerned because I watched how that basically destroyed my mother. And I watched the pain and the suffering that she went through. And I was like, oh God, I don't want the same thing. But I wasn't afraid. I was ready to fight.
So you're a fighter. You were not afraid, and you
No,
were ready to fight.
I was ready.
What made you
I,
ready, though? What was it that made you ready for this battle?
what made me ready was when dealing with my husband and watch him going through his diagnosis with glaucoma and him losing his sight. And I was like, I have to be the backbone. I have to be the one now to lift the family up. I have to be the one now to strengthen and keep each other in line to make sure the family stays together. And those were things to help strengthen me for when my time comes that I don't let nobody down or I am always there to lift somebody up. So those things encourage me to keep pushing and continue to know that God is in this with us. So those were my comfort zones.
Isn't it amazing how family can anchor us, how family can be that thing that gives us a reason to truly fight and to find grit and courage that we didn't even know that we had inside of us, like we wanted to be or we want to be around and we want to protect and we want to be here. So Tiffany, as a mother, like look at your beautiful daughter Shavonnya with her vibrant personality.
Mm,
As a mother, what was it like watching Shavonnya face a diagnosis that you'd already experienced somewhat yourself?
listen, as a mother, I know I had to be strong for her. My emotions, I couldn't show them to her, even though I was a little nervous when I heard that my daughter now is going to fight the same thing that I had to fight and what my mother had to fight. And that was somewhat threw me off guard. But like I said to her in the doctor's office, whose report do you believe? And I remember her getting scared, but I had to be there to encourage her. I remember her saying, I got to do this, I have to make this, but I had to be there to make sure that she was still on solid ground, that she was still the one who always is encouraging somebody else. But at the same time, I had to be encouraging her, letting her know that God is there with her. He's fighting with her, that she should not give up and she should not lose her faith. She is a child of God and she has to continue with that same vein. So I always reminded her that Jesus was wounded for our transgressions and he was bruised for our iniquities. So I always try to encourage her to keep pushing, to keep pressing on, and don't let nothing discourage her. Even this battle, it's not ours, it's the Lord's.
Isn't that amazing? And it's how wonderful it is to have a mother that can anchor you in the word of God, a mother that can remind you of who you are, of the promises of God, and to be there as a strength. Now, Shavonnya, I've seen so many giggling pictures of y'all walking across the highway I'm I'm seeing like you guys have made it into somewhat of an adventure when Shavonnya goes over for her treatment. How does keeping it lighthearted in that way help you to help Shavonnya through the process of her treatments?
That's me.
Yes, no, that's Tiffany. Yes, tell me,
Listen,
how does keeping it lighthearted help?
it's the personality. I love to make people smile. I love to talk. They always say, "Mommy, you like to talk too much," but I love to talk. I love to encourage people, and I love when I can put a smile on somebody's face. So it's just my personality.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. Now, Shavonnya, you had a constant companion. I mean, from day one, you had your mother who stood by your side. So, how did your mother's journey shape the way you faced or currently face your own diagnosis? Do you find that you were more prepared or were you more afraid?
I'm definitely more afraid, because our journey at the beginning was very, very much different. My mom, when she was first diagnosed, she did not take chemotherapy, and she didn't go the route that I initially went. So when I first was diagnosed, my journey was going to be different from hers. So I was nervous. I was scared. Like she said prior, she has been by my side from the very inception. I remember when I got the diagnosis and went over for a second opinion, and she was in the room, and the doctor came in, and they said what they said. I came to her and I was like, "Mommy, let's start preparing my funeral." And she looked at me. I will never forget this moment. She looked at me and she said, "You shall live and not die. You will declare the work of the Lord."
Well,
And
Shivanya, let's just pause right there for a second because what was it that made you immediately go to let's prepare for my funeral?
like my mom said prior, I watched my grandmother literally deteriorate after having to take chemotherapy, and it appeared at that moment that as soon as she began treatment, she became worse, and within months she was gone from us. So when I heard the word, "It's a must that you take chemotherapy," I just expected the doom. I was like, chemotherapy kills, because that's what I saw based on what, like I said, what my grandmother experienced. So I was under assumption that once you begin chemotherapy, it goes downhill from there. So I was adamant. I was like, "Mom, this is the colors I want you guys to wear," and she wasn't having it. She was like, "Nope, not gonna happen. You're not going to do that. You're going to fight." And in that moment, a a boost of strength just like catapulted me to a whole different level. And I was like, "You know what? I am going to fight," because I had such an amazing gem by my side, back pushing me. I've always been there pushing persons, but in that moment, I was weak. I was wounded. And she was right there to rally me up and cheer me on. So I was the first one to go through the chemotherapy aspect of it. And so she had to watch me do that. And then she did it thereafter. But so our journeys weren't alike for me to really compare, or even
Mm,
get a sneak peek at to say, well, a chemotherapy in a different light. So she
right.
saw that through me.
Wow. So you actually led the way for her. Isn't that amazing that through demonstrating that you successfully navigated chemotherapy when she had a recurrence, she then elected to get a higher level of treatment, and that's what I'm talking about, how like courage just runs in this family and how you're both being great support for each other. Now, Tiffany, there's
Mhm.
a certain kind of strength that mothers pass down. Like I vividly remember my mom, whenever I was about to do something that would be considered trailblazing, or whenever I had something on my plate, and it was like, you have your anxiety, you have you have your doubts or whatever. Like, she was my biggest cheerleader. Like, I still hear her today. Listen, girl, you got this, right? I still literally hear her words in my head today. So mothers have a special way of passing down courage. Like, how would you describe the kind of courage that runs between the two of you? Because I have also witnessed you being mothered by Shavonnya after your
Yes,
surgery. So just
yes.
talk about how that courage exchange happens and just talk about that special bond.
Now, I always go, I like the word of God. And in the word, it says one can chase 1,000. I that's what I go on. And two, I go on the word. The word of God causes me to be able to fight, to be able to be encouraged, to be able to go through the day-to-day life. And that there, like, one can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000. But the fight wasn't for me. It was for so many other people that they be able to see, okay, you ain't look like cancer. How cancer look? You ain't look like you've been through this. How am I supposed to look? But I encourage a lot of person that it's not only a fight for cancer, but it's a fight that a spiritual fight, whereas you have to fight with the word. And the word of God would have comforted me on many days. And I've brought it to my daughter's attention also that God is still faithful even in cancer. God is still faithful even going through chemotherapy. God is still faithful even in our bad feelings going through cancer. So we have to lift our hand and even thank God for life itself, even after chemo.
So all of that right there was powerful. And I love Tiffany. I just love the reminder that, you know, the fight with one and then two can face 10,000. Like, it's just a
Yes,
whole reminder that, yeah, you could do something alone, but when you are bonded with another person, like, two can do more. And so
more, yeah,
having this connection between you and your daughter, and even now being in the fight together and helping each other along, that right there is just a strong and powerful testimony. Now,
yes.
Shavonnya, I know you've had to do some mothering yourself,
Mhm.
right? So, see all I'm dipping at her mouth, Miss Tiffany. So, tell us, Shavonnya, about how the roles reversed, right? When your mom had surgery and you now became the mother. What was that process like? And how did you land into your experience, your firsthand experience with chemo to support Miss Tiffany?
I just want to start off by saying, mothering her is very difficult.
Ah,
She does not listen. She's a is going to my mother is Miss Congeniality. Everywhere she goes, she no matter what she's facing, she is the star of the room. You're going to know she is in that room. No matter what. You're gonna know, you're gonna feel and also hear her presence. So when it was her time to face chemotherapy, just like how she was on my side, I too was on her side. So she was able to see my experience firsthand. So we kind of prepared for what she was about to face a little bit differently. Some of our symptoms were very much alike, and then some were very much different.
right.
But we had a general ballpark as it relates to what to
What?
prepare for. So I would say definitely our surgeries were done actually exactly, I think it was 5.5 weeks apart, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was
Yes.
about 5.5 weeks apart. So
Oh, wow.
I went over for surgery. She was with me. For we stayed over in the States for like 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks. I recovered, and soon as I came back in the became back to Nassau, I had to jump from being patient to caregiver immediately. So
Wow.
it was the I didn't have much time to prepare. I switched over, and even as I was patient in my mind, I was still preparing to be caregiver. So, and in her mind, even though she was
Wow.
caregiver, she was also preparing in her mind to be patient because the time frame was so short as it relates to our surgeries back to back. And I remember going in with her that day, the day before, preparing her. And like you said prior, me and my mom were super, super close. We share everything together, and definitely laughter is going to be there. Definitely laughter is a part of our journey. Tears and laughter, but more laughter than tears. That she's definitely a woman of faith. So am I, and that keeps us grounded. It keeps us grounded, having and knowing that God is able and He is faithful, and
Yes.
the evidence of His
Yeah.
faithfulness and His goodness. So, like she said prior, the Word of God kept us grounded. It kept me grounded dealing with her, especially days when she did not want to listen. Like, sit down, you know. So,
Right.
but we got through, we made it through, and here we are.
Yes, because it's so easy to fall into that trap of right after surgery, rest is still difficult, right? We want to be quote unquote normal, even though we're in healing mode. So we want to sweep, we want to get up and move around and all of that sort of stuff because it's what we're used to, is what we're accustomed to. And that takes some reconditioning. So, yes.
And
So,
it's
Miss
strong.
Tiffany, huh?
Yes.
I said, especially when you're used to being so strong. Like she
Right,
said, she was the family glue. So
right,
her sitting down was
Mm-mm.
strange. She never had to lay down that long or be out of or a patient and where she rested. So she's the strength. So she's
right.
always going and going. So having her to have to sit down was, I think it was mental and physically hard.
Yeah. I mean, and that's very understandable. When you are the glue of the family, there are so many thoughts that come up, right? One, you don't have time to be sick. Yeah.
Nope.
And then
Nope.
two, like, how will the family receive this? You don't want the family to be worried about you. You don't want them to think that something bad is going to happen to you. So you're being strong for them so that they don't fall apart when you need to fall apart so that you could actually get better. So it's a heavy responsibility and a
It
heavy
truly
weight
is.
we carry, right?
Right.
Yes. So, Miss Tiffany,
Mm-hmm.
coming right back over to you now. Was there a time during your treatment when you wanted to give up, and what helped you to hold on during the hardest moments? We know you're anchored in the word of God. Was there anything else that was an anchor for you when you wanted to give up?
My family, my children, they even in my bad feelings, when we come on now, you got to do this. Tiff, let's go. You have to do this. Even when I say, Lord, why? And then it came back to me, why not? But even in my family, they push me. They push me. Um, you can be okay. Come on, you gotta push. Come
Mm,
on, let's do this. So they were the ones who would have held my hand up and and to try put something down in your mouth. They were the ones who encouraged me to keep pushing. They
yeah.
were the ones who were by my side all the step of the way.
Yeah, yes. And what about you, Shavonnya? What anchored you when you had your moments when you wanted to give up? I remember vividly over a year ago when Shavonnya had her first treatment. She was like, I am not going back.
Yep, 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 yep.
Tell us about what caused you to go back. What was it that made you hold on during those hard times?
It was the same. My family, the support of family.
Yeah.
I didn't even I was fortunate to always have strong women and men, man, I should say, my father, in my life. So uh they were my backbone. They were the ones
Okay.
pushing me and telling me I giving up was not an option.
Not an
Right.
option.
I told
Yeah.
them like you said prior, when I got that first, I was like, hey yo, I'm tapping out. That's it. That's done with now. And they refused to hear that. And
Wow.
I was fearful that my mom would like drag me.
You gotta say
Oh
that.
boy,
They would
man.
drag me there. So
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't allow me to give up. It was them keeping me grounded and always reminded me, and reassuring me that it would get better, and
Yes.
reminding me that bad days don't last always, and
Yes.
good days were coming. So that kept me grounded. That on the other side, I know that a good day is coming again. A good day is coming again, and the good
Yes.
day is now here. So I'm happy
Right.
that I went back.
I love it. I love it. And that speaks volumes about the importance of support, whether that's support by family or through friends or other means. Like support is vital because there are high moments and then there are low moments. And yes, we have the word of God. And that is a wonderful anchor for us. But sometimes we need evidence. Like sometimes we need proof, right? We know faith without works is dead,
Mm-hmm.
and God responds to our acts of faith. But we also know that there are times in our humanness when we need to see the evidence of faith manifested. And so just having that support, that family that anchors you and that reminds you and encourages you to take one day at a time, to know you're not alone. So to the person out there who is navigating cancer as they watch your story, understanding that you are mother and daughter both in the battle of breast cancer at the moment, what would you say to someone who is isolating themselves, ashamed of their story, don't want help? Like, what would you say? And we'll start with you, Shavonnya.
I've been there. I remember being ashamed, not telling anyone, not wanting to tell anyone. Um, Especially when I began the process of losing all of my hair, and I was very embarrassed because I was so used to being dolled up all the time, and now looking in the mirror was hard. I didn't recognize that person, and I too began to isolate myself, and it only went deeper downhill when I did that. And I had a friend. I sure if she won't mind we call her name. I had Varel. I had my mom, my dad, um, brothers, everyone, and children pushing me to not do that. And I remember when I first initially told someone that I considered a stranger, and it was like a breath of fresh air. Like I don't know, I felt a sense of relief that it's out there now, and I it almost felt like because when I was a teenage mom, me being ashamed carrying something that was quote unquote wrong for that time or an embarrassment. I don't even remember why I was so embarrassed, to be honest. I was embarrassed to have cancer. That's even saying that now is like, wow. I've been there, and I can say isolating yourself does more harm than good. It is definitely not a safe place to be. I joined a wonderful support group outside of my family support. GD Caring and Sharing. Hey, I joined
Hey.
a wonderful support group with amazing persons. And I remember the first day that I went to a meeting, even in that meeting, I was ashamed. And I remember leaving and feeling so renewed and refreshed. We did something, we did a vision board, and to this day, that was 3 years ago, we did this vision board. To this day, I have that vision board and I look at it almost every day to encourage myself to see, and things that I wrote on that vision board, it has now manifested. And that's because I did not stay isolated. That's because I branched out. I found support. Like I said, it's not only family, like other women and going through the same thing I was experiencing besides my mom. Um, it allowed me, it builds my faith, it builds courage for me. It allowed me to, even days when I didn't want to fight, being a part of, because I didn't isolate myself and having support outside, they encouraged me, they lifted me up. Here I am now talking on the screen because of that group. I was never I definitely, this was not my thing. Definitely not. Like I couldn't imagine broadcasting this everywhere. Hey guys, I had cancer. Like I was like, no one's gonna know this. I'm gonna put those lashes on, I'm gonna wear my wigs, and no one's going to ever know. And now, I mean, I still don't go, I mean, I have hair now, but I knew that I didn't have to allow cancer to make me feel less than.
Yes.
It doesn't have a, I mean, persons say it has a look, but it doesn't have to define you. Hope, Courage came because I did not isolate myself. I choose to get up after. I choose to walk, and to now I'm running. I started off walking, but because of all of the support, I am literally now running ice cream from the rooftop. I have persons that reach out to me, strangers just wanting to find out, hey, um, how did this go for you? And I'm able now to share because I shared my story, because I didn't stay isolated. If I had stayed isolated, if I had stayed to myself, the persons now that who are depending on that word or seeing the evidence would
Yes.
not be able to get it now. And
Yeah.
I am so thankful that I did not do that. So I would say to the person, God is faithful.
Yes.
I am evidence of his faithfulness. I am proud to say that I have survived cancer. What the doctor gave me a very short time. And I can say that I'm almost to that clock now, outnumbering that year that the doctor gave me, that 5-year journey. This is year 4.5.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Stop.
So,
Stop.
so don't stay there. Don't stay there. And like I said,
Yeah.
bad days, those bad days definitely um was bad days. We're not going to sugarcoat it. It was bad days. It was days I wanted to give up. But the reassurance that good days were coming kept me.
Yes.
Get out of that shell. Don't be in. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We all face challenges, and your life is someone's evidence. Let's
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Boy, Miss Tiffany, that was a sermon, and I see Deanne is listening in, and she is saying
Listen,
that yes, indeed, cancer does not have to define you. So, Miss Tiffany, what do you say?
listen. Now, persons out there, I like to talk. I love to make you feel like you need to be in this room. When I was diagnosed and I lost my hair, I rocked my hair straight through the whole entire time. I had locks, I had dreadlocks.
Oh
So when
wow.
my hair dropped, I had my husband cut my locks and I rocked that straight through. Even when they thought I designed my hair. When my hair was gone, they thought I made designs in my hair. But that's how close he cut my locks to my scalp. But I, I, my husband is blind, so I allowed him to cut my hair. But persons out there who are staying isolated or who want to stay isolated, it is not that good. It is not good at all. I say to you, get out of that shell, get out of that place where you need to be. That's depression that causes you to sink further and further. Get out, meet people, get lively, live, love, laugh. Come
Yes.
on, we have to do this. We can't stay shut in and shut out. We have to open our arms, get out of that room, put on your little blush, put on your little pink eyeshadow if you have to, put on your little lipstick if you have to. But come on, don't stay in that place. That's
Yes.
not a good place. And cancer feeds on depression and sugar. We
Yes.
have to get out of that particular place where you're in. You got to give God thanks for another day. That's one day of you have to give God thanks for another day. Being in the land of the living, you have to give God thanks for another day. Just to be here.
Mm.
So we not ought to be depressed because you were diagnosed with cancer. If it weren't you, who else would it be? God has plans for each and every one of our lives. And that's just one of them. And that's an obstacle that we have to face. And I call it a giant. But giants do fall. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yes.
So we ought to give God thanks
That's
even
it.
in cancer, even in our sickness,
Yeah.
even in and whatever we face. It might not even be cancer. It might not even be
Yeah.
diabetes. It might not even be blindness. But whatever the
Right.
situation is, we ought to give him thanks and get out of that shell.
Amen.
Like Shavonnya say, she was afraid and shame at first. But listen, I never was ashamed. I never
Right.
was afraid. I have the people in oncology, I gave them jokes every day. So they know me by name. They laugh with me. They talk with me. Girl Clark, let's go. Come on. So
Right.
tell me, Rachel, let's do
Yeah.
this. Come
I
on.
love it.
And GD Karen Sharon Group, listen, they number one. They number one. They help, they push with you. They there for you. So don't
Yeah,
give up. Get
that's
in
it.
there and let's fight.
Man, I see Diana saying, wow, God is good and God is indeed good. And what
Yes.
encouraging words you have shared today with someone who is fighting cancer and is ashamed or sitting in isolation. And y'all know we could be sharing this thing all over the place. So I
Yeah.
hope that there are women that watch this and see the evidence before them in Tiffany and in Shavonnya about the fact that you can stay, you can share your story, you can talk to other people, like it doesn't have to make you shrink. So now, ladies, how did your relationship with each other with each other evolve through this
Mm.
experience? What are the moments that you would say stood out to you as defining moments in your journey together?
Siobhan, you go first.
It's so that's a hard one because it's it was so many moments like I mean, like you said, our travel time was supposed to be for treatment times. We turned it into mother daughter dates. We turned
No,
it
shopping. Shopping.
like I had a running across 6-lane highways, and it was definitely so many to find it. I mean, that's a hard one. We had so many. I can't pinpoint one to say, okay, this was the one that transformed. But I can say that we we were always close, but now I found I don't even know if that's possible. I found a newfound love for my mom in a different way.
Yeah.
Um, Watching her become a caregiver to me and seeing her as an adult being my caregiver has pushed me over the top as it relates to loving her. I don't want to get emotional because she can tease me with it later. But she has I'm talking about even when I was grumpy and miserable, I've seen my mommy be patient with me and still love me through it all, and still like I remember one night we were arguing over the room being too cold in the hotel room, because when I was facing doing chemotherapy I got hot really quickly, and so I was like, this room is too cold. Too hot. I'd be cutting this AC up, and then she's freezing. I remember us one night. I was like, I'm cutting this AC up. She was like, oh, you're not cutting it. She was upset, and I needed my medication. And you should see me. I know I in pain. I trying to lean over to go get my medication on my own because I'm like, I'm not fooling with her because she ain't listening to me. And I remember in that moment, she got up and she was like, "What are you doing?" And she got that medication and she gave that to me, and she stood there and she was like asking like, you okay, and rubbing me, and I was like, wasn't you just mad at me like 5 seconds ago? Like this is real love. This is
Yes.
real love. And I
Yeah.
was like, wasn't you just mad at me like 15 seconds ago? And quickly she jumped from feelings to, hey, this is my child and she's gonna take care of me.
Yes.
So, and we've had numerous moments like that where I would make up, said, oh, where she makes me mad, and I still jump and say, hey, listen, we we forgive now easily. We love
Wow.
even more easier now, and we know that each day is a gift even
Yes.
now. So we take that not for granted.
Yeah.
We talk every day. Every day we talk like. So it's a newfound love. Like we said, we've always been close, but this journey has definitely brought us to a different level. As it relates to our love and for me, let me speak for me. I don't know if she
Yeah, go sit on.
gonna
We
say
let Tiffany talk right now.
the same thing about me. So I'm gonna hear what she has to say now.
Listen, everything Siobhan said, listen, that's awesomely, awesomely true. I have found a more, I wouldn't say more love because she know I loved her. I love her. I would find her to be sometimes like BK, have it your way. Um, but she levels off at certain times, when I remind her, look here, girl, I said, mother, you think you was my mommy? Hey, I see your mommy. So she'll be like, okay, all right, okay. And then her being as strong as she is, her being a provider for her girls, I've watched her grown tremendously, especially in in this situation. I've watched her circle got bigger. I watched her circle even get smaller. Even with Shavonnya, I've watched her encouraged. I've watched her grown tremendously. I've watched her been a pillar of strength to friends, even family, even to myself when I decide I want to do my own thing. Now, come on now, mommy. You have to do better than this. But I've watched my child grown from my 3 pound, 7.9 ounce baby to a strong woman, a strong woman. And that's one of the things I love about her. Even though she went through, even though she felt like she wasn't gonna make it, you would never know that if she didn't tell her story. She was there, she was in that bad place, but now she is in that higher place, knowing that God has done it once
Yeah.
again in her life.
Yes. Boy, and it's amazing when we go through situations and we can look back and we can see how far God has brought us from. There
Mhm.
is nothing that gives us more confidence than knowing that God is with us and all things are going to work out, for our good. So we're going to begin the wind down of this conversation. And I want to ask you, ladies, um, do you think that cancer has changed the way you see yourself as a woman, like beyond the diagnosis? So how has cancer changed you?
Well, cancer has changed me. Me losing or having a double vasectomy, that would have been one that would have changed my order of appearance. But I am proud of my body. I am proud of having no breasts at times. Sometimes I put on my little breast, but I am happy with what God has done with this body, even after losing both breasts. I am proud to say that I am a survivor. I am
Yeah,
proud to say that even though my hair was gone, I still am beautiful. I still am beautiful. And I am proud to say, even in this, I am stronger than I've been before.
yes. Awesome. Shivanya?
Honestly, I'm more confident, and this is something I did not expect because I've always been. My mommy like to say I've been. I don't like to say that. Uh,
Mm,
but I am more confident now. I have a more appreciation for who I am. I did not know I had that strength to overcome what I did. I did not know I had that fight in me the way I fought. So I am definitely now more confident in who I am as a person. I am definitely more grateful. I am more humble as a person as well. As I definitely don't take anything for granted anymore. Nothing. People, things, situations. I take nothing for granted anymore. Every day I get to open my eye is a awesome day. Even whatever happens, and even my profession, things that I face, challenges that come up, I don't look at it the same way. I look at everything as an opportunity for me to become evidence for someone. That's one of
Yeah,
my words now, evidence.
yes.
I take nothing for granted anymore. Um, things that used to get me upset quickly definitely does not. I mean, I still can't believe I used to get upset for some of the things that I did. So going through this journey has definitely transformed me mentally, physically as well. But the major thing is mentally.
No.
Mentally now I am definitely much more in a safer place.
Yes. In that cancer has its hard times and its bad times,
it does.
the lessons and the evolution can also be good. There are good things to coming out of a journey with cancer. You're more carefree. You, like Deanne says, live your life. Like you're more in tuned with life and living your life and enjoying life. And Deanne is here again saying that your mother-daughter story is very inspiring. Be encouraged and continue the journey. And so it's wonderful to see that we can become more as a result of something that initially started as something negative. So our final question or conversation for tonight is simply, Shavonnya and Tiffany, is to take this opportunity to share with each other from your heart, like about what you've endured and overcome and become. Like, what would you want to say to each other as a result of this bond that you both share?
I want to say to Shavonnya, thank you for being there for me every step of the way,
Yes.
because you went through this battle. I went through this battle, but we both are grateful. I want to thank you that you didn't stop halfway on this journey with me. Even though at times I got a little miserable, you didn't leave me. You were still there with me. And I just want to say, I thank God for allowing me to have a daughter as beautiful and as strong as you, and for God to always bless you and keep you in perfect peace, and that He is not going to leave us nor forsake us. He is always going to be there with us. So I just want to say I love you, Shavonnya, with all my heart. And I thank you for being a friend and a daughter. I thank you for being a great, great woman that you are. So I encourage you to keep
Oh,
pushing. I encourage you to keep pressing. And I continue to ask God to keep you in perfect peace and cause your mind to stay on Him. So I love you. I love you. I love you, my daughter, my one and only daughter.
wow. That is so beautiful. And to know that you're her only daughter. And so,
Only daughter.
Shavonnya, what say you?
Okay, unfortunately, Mom, I missed some of that, so you're gonna have to read on that on the phone to me.
Love and diamond.
But I think I caught some of the major points, especially the I love you, heavy on the I love you. You cheated a bit. I saw you looking down and reading something. So, but
I
but
am looking at my foot is swelling. My foot
Y'all,
is swelling.
oh my, y'all do our mess.
right. So definitely, Mom, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for you standing by me and with me. I am so grateful, like I told you on many, many occasions, for that day that you did not allow me to plan that funeral and give up. I am so grateful that you did not take that day and allowed me to stay in the gutter. Thank you for pulling me up. Even even if you were afraid, you never showed it. So thank you for being you. Thank you for loving on me like no one else can. Thank you for always being a pillar of strength, even as you were journeying and going through. Thank you for being such an amazing person. I not only to me, but thank you for being an amazing person to all of us. And everyone that encounters you say the same thing. You are definitely an amazing person. Thank you for passing down some of those traits to me. Thank you for being my mommy. I wouldn't have chose another mother if I had an opportunity. Like, I gotta stop teaching you these stuff. Like, where you letting me clock it? Thank you for always ensuring that there's laughter between us. Thank you for being my shopping partner when I'm supposed to be getting treatments and laying down. Thank you for putting up with me and spending like 4 hours in Walmart when I'm supposed to be in bed. Thank you, mommy, for the good habits and the bad habits. Thank you so much. I love you. I adore you. I admire you. You are an inspiration and you are my role model. And
Oh,
I aspire to be half of what you are when I too become that age. I mean, every year you turn 43. So,
35. Let's get it together. 35.
so at 43,
oh.
I just hope that I am just as good. And your training and your sacrifices definitely does not go in vain. So thank you, mommy. I love you. I
I
adore
love
you.
you too.
I appreciate you so, 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 so much. And I can't wait until we are on our both 10-year anniversary, celebrating cancer free and telling the world of this story over and over and over again. Thank you. that you are a part of this journey and we get to do this together. And in it, we get to share our love story, our
Yes.
survival story, and to talk about
Yes.
the faithfulness of our God. So thank
Yeah.
you, and I love you.
Love
Oh,
you too.
it's so sweet. I feel all the love. I feel all the love. Courage. We're gonna change this to courage and love runs in the family. Okay, that's what we're gonna change this to. But Tiffany and Shavonnya, thank you so much. Like, thank you for your
Yes.
honesty. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for reminding us that courage doesn't have to be loud, but it's quiet, it's steady, it's passed down through truth and love. Tonight we witnessed it just in your conversations, sharing what you've had to say about each other and to each other. We witness what it means to support, to believe, and to endure. And, we appreciate you taking the time, Tiffany. We know you're not 100% to be with us tonight. And so thank you so very much for that extra dose of courage. For every woman who is watching this, who is in the middle of her own battle or starting her own battle, may this conversation remind you that one, you're not alone. Two, strength may look different for each of us, but it lives in each one of us. You have the strength to endure. And when courage runs in the family, healing runs deeper than we ever imagined. Y'all see these two giggling here? That is what's called healing. And so, good night, everyone. And hey, just as a reminder, let's keep showing up for one another. Let's keep reminding each other that there's a big world out here that we get to thrive in despite our battles. If you're not
Yes.
following us on social media, we are the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group, the best cancer support group in the world. And we encourage you to like and follow our page. We would love to support you in your journey. And so, good night, everyone. Take care. Thanks, Shavonnya. Thanks again, Tiffany. Take care,
Thank you.
guys.
All
Goodbye.
right.
Bye.